Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable bows, hand embroidered. It's a little bit more complicated. There's some sewing, but it's not too bad. I'm going to show you every step of the way. This is just white cotton fabric. You can use whatever color you want. I have this template made just to make it easier for me. This is just out of cardboard. And you can kind of make this whatever size you want, but here are the measurements that I use. And this is going to be the main part of your bow. So you're just going to cut that out. And then we're going to cut this other smaller piece out. This is going to wrap around the center of your bow to hold everything together. Now time to transfer the pattern onto your bow. So I put the name about a hand width in from the outer edge. If you use different sizes, you might have to play around with the measurements, but this will make it so it sits right on the edge of my bow when I fold it all up. Now it's time to put your design on. You can put whatever design you want. I have this simple floral one. I put it a hand width in so it matches the name on the other side. And you want to try to keep it centered between the top and the bottom as well. Now it's time to embroider. I use 2 strands of thread like I do with almost everything else, and then I'm going to fold it over so it'll be 4 strands. Obviously you can use whatever color you want. This is the DMC 645 thread, beaver gray. I just double knot the end so it'll be secure when I start stitching, and for the stems of the flowers I'm going to use the split stitch. I just recorded a video last week on how to do this stitch. It's super easy, it's very similar to the back stitch. I go all the way up in the center stem first and then do the branches, but you can do it however feels comfortable for you or whatever you like the look of best. If you're using white fabric though, you want to be careful not to jump too far into another stem because you'll be able to see it in the back. So you want to kind of stay in the line to cover the threads in the back, if that makes sense. I'm just using the color Light Eggplant 28 by DMC, and I'm just going to make little colonial knots for the flowers. Again, you can do any kind of flowers you want or design. This is just a simple one that I just like the look of it. You can do as many knots as you want for different floral looks as well. Now it's time to stitch the name. So this customer wanted the name the same color as the flowers. So I did the stem first because that was the only color I was going to use in that green. Then since I did the flowers, I was able to use the rest of the thread on my needle and switch over to the name, so it was just an easy transition. I used the back stitch for the name, just like with most of my hoops. So all done embroidering, and now it's just time to iron this out because it does get a little wrinkly and you don't want the marks from the hoops left on there. You're going to fold it in half the long way, making sure that the name and the flowers are on the inside, and you're going to stitch a line right at the top to close this. You're going to do the same thing with that other little piece that we cut out, just iron it flat, and then you're going to stitch a line right on the outer edge. I'm not big on sewing, but it does make it a lot easier for projects like this, but you can also definitely hand stitch a line if you want. Now that we are done stitching these, we are going to flip them right side in so that the name and the flowers are now facing you. This smaller piece is a little bit trickier to flip, so I usually have to use tweezers to grab the inside and flip it. Then again, we're going to iron both of these pieces flat. There will be a seam. Make sure that it's right in the middle facing you. Now we're going to fold the main piece in half so that the name and the flowers are inside facing each other, and we're going to stitch a line right on the edge. It's going to create a circle with this piece of fabric. And then you can cut all the excess thread off and flip this right side in. Are you starting to see it? It's finally coming together looking like a bow. You're going to take a needle, and I use my sewing machine thread, which is a little bit different, but you can also use your hand embroidery thread. It doesn't matter. We're going to scrunch this fabric up so that it'll actually look like a bow. I'm just taking the same thread that I used in the sewing machine. You can also use embroidery thread for this as well. So I'm going to thread my needle and do it exactly like I do with my embroidery thread. I'm going to double it up and then knot it at the end. I knot it a couple times because this one's pretty thin. Then you're going to take your bow and we're going to fold it into threes accordion style. It's a little tricky, but just hold it tight, and we're going to thread our needle through the back of it. And then we are going to wrap the thread around it to secure it in place. You can wrap it around as many times as you want. I do it quite a bit. I just want to make sure that it's secure. And then sometimes I'll go through the fabric in the back again. After you're done wrapping the thread around, you're just going to secure it into a knot so that the thread doesn't come loose. Now it's time to add the headband. You can do a nylon headband, or you can actually do a clip. I have both, but today I'm going to show you how to do the headband. And take a little bit of hot glue to secure the nylon headband on. And then we're going to take that small little piece that we stitched earlier, and we're going to glue that on top and around the whole bow so it just looks neat. So you just hot glue it a little bit at a time as you go so that the glue doesn't dry. Make sure that this piece is facing seam side down. Once that middle piece is all secure, I'm just going to take scissors and clean up the little frays. And then I'm going to take a little bit more hot glue and close up the opening of that little part in the middle. And that's it, the bow is done. Please comment below if you have any questions. I try to explain things as good as I can, but if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And then in a couple weeks, I'll be coming out with a video on how to make a different type of bow that's also very cute.